This video is a critical response to the interview of Simon Sinek in which he discussed millennials. Simon starts with giving us his general description about who the millennials are.
What's the millennial question?
Apparently, millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after.
Every generation has an approximate starting year and an approximate end year. Here we can see Simon has intentionally avoided to mention the end year. It will help him to create ambiguity and confusion, and no one will notice or raise question when he will compare the millennials with the millennials instead of comparing them with other generations.
Are tough to manage, and they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic and self-interested, unfocused, lazy.
It seems that Simon wants to say millennials cannot be manipulated easily.
And because they confound leadership so much, what's happening is leaders are asking the millennials, what do you want? And millennials are saying, we want to work in a place with purpose, love that. We want to make an impact, whatever that means. We want free food and beanbags. And so somebody articulates some sort of purpose, there's lots of free food and there's beanbags, and yet for some reason, they're still not happy.
Note that Simon has used words leaders, leadership, instead of employers, boss, owners. You can see nothing is wrong if you have desire that you want a purpose and want to make an impact. If you fail, then this can also make you unhappy. But Simon wants to make these answers look like ridiculous. He separates their unhappiness from their failure of achieving what they were aiming for. As you can see, Mr. Simon has successfully accused millennials just because they cannot be manipulated easily at workplaces and they want a purpose and want to make an impact. Mr. Simon and perhaps his so-called leadership think this behavior as a kind of behavioral disorder, and on the basis of this, they also accused millennials of being entitled, narcissistic, self-interested, unfocused, and lazy. He is also trying to distract his audience by taunting millennials by presenting his audience an irrelevant, ridiculous example of free food and beans bag. Then he presents his thoughts about why millennials are struggling in the workforce.
There's a missing piece. What I've learned is that I can break it down into four pieces, right? There are four things, four characteristics. One is parenting, the other one is technology, the third is impatience, and the fourth is environment.
I am not going to describe the detail he presented regarding those 4 points. All I am going to mention is what he intentionally avoided to discuss, or the prominent mistakes in his arguments.
The generation that we call the millennials, too many of them grew up subject to, not my words, failed parenting strategies.
He intentionally avoided to mention about the parents of millennials. Millennials are mostly the children of baby boomers, the most successful generation. Millennials are also called eco-boomers. Millennials inherited many traits of their parents that include rebellious behavior against the stagnancy of the system, potential and ability to change the system, awareness of their rights, searching for the aim of their life and existence. Such inheritance from a generation who were notoriously famous for successful anti-social movements is simply hard to digest for all those leaders or leadership who are against any change in this system and are getting most of the benefits from the system. So what can they do?
Failed parenting strategies, where, for example, they were told that they were special all the time. They were told that they could have anything they want in life, just because they want it, right? They were told Some of them got into honors classes not because they deserved it, but because their parents complained. And some of them got A's not because they earned them, but because the teachers didn't want to deal with the parents. Some kids got participation medals. You got a medal for coming in last, right? Which the science we know is pretty clear, which is it devalues the medal and the reward for those who actually work hard. And it actually makes the person who comes in last feel embarrassed because they know they didn't deserve it. So it actually makes them feel worse, right?
Mr. Simon tries to misguide his audience by presenting irrelevant examples of parental behavior and spoiled children that can be found in every generation. However, during this attempt, he mistakenly exposed some of the problems prevailing in education system. Frequent use of words such as apparently, not my words, what I have learned, it sounds pretty clear, or assigning his own meanings to the terms, for example, participation medals means coming in the last, etc., can cover any kind of biased and fallacious statements.
We're growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. In other words, we're good at putting filters on things. We're good at showing people that life is amazing even though I'm depressed, right? And so everybody sounds tough, and everybody sounds like they got it all figured out. And the reality is there's very little toughness, and most people don't have it figured out. They don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person, they're turning to a device, they're turning to social media, they're turning to these things which offer temporary relief.
Mr. Simon also misguided his audience by confining the social media addiction only with the millennials. People of all ages and generations have some kind of internet or social media addiction, and such addiction is also causing a change in their behavior and lifestyle. But here Simon does not seem to discuss only the negative impacts of social media on millennials. Just watch it by yourself.
We have age restrictions on smoking, gambling, and alcohol, and we have no age restrictions on social media and cell phones, which is the equivalent of opening up the liquor cabinet and saying to our teenagers, hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down.
Social media is a powerful weapon that can be used to bring revolutions. In recent years, we have seen that how social media helped the youth in Middle East to bring what is now known as Arab Spring. Also keep in mind that social media was not as free as it is in the Western countries, and just imagine this powerful weapon in the hands of a youth who want to make an impact. Leadership or leaders who does not want any change in the current system are worried about this ever-growing threat of social media. The best way to control is labeling it as an addictive drug and start a campaign to put same kind of restrictions on it as are on other drugs.
Idealistic, hardworking, smart kids. They've just graduated school. They're in their entry-level job. I sit down with them and I go, how's it going? They go, I think I'm going to quit. I'm like, why? They're like, I'm not making an impact. I'm like, you've been here 8 months. You know?
However, Mr. Simon is right about the impatience of millennials, and there are two main reasons for their impatience. First reason is that millennials compare achievements of their life with the achievements of their parents. Second reason is linked with the environment. I think environment is not the proper word. Instead, we should use the word system in which millennials are living.
We are putting them in corporate environments that aren't helping them build their confidence, that aren't helping them learn the skills of cooperation, that aren't helping them overcome the challenges of a digital world and finding more balance, that isn't helping them overcome the need to have instant gratification and teach them the joys and impact and the fulfillment you get from working hard on something for a long time that cannot be done in a month or even in a year.
Mr. Simon is not only ignoring the faults in the system, he instead seems defending the system of exploitation and accusing all those who are not submissive or doing resistance against their exploitation. For him, it is a behavioral disorder that is creating problems for those who are getting benefit from this system of exploitation and injustices, and Simon is using words, leaders, and leadership for those exploiters.
They were dealt a bad hand, and I hate to say it, but it's the company's responsibility. Sucks to be you, like we have no choice, right? This is what we got, and I wish that society and their parents did a better job. They didn't. So we're getting them in our companies, and we now have to pick up the slack. We have to work extra hard to figure out the ways that we build their confidence. We have to work extra hard to find ways to teach them the social skills that they're missing out on.
Simon is not only defending this system, which is based on exploitation and injustices, he is also presenting this system as the real world. And instead of talking about the improvements in the system, he is persuading people to adapt themselves according to the system that will obviously benefit those who are getting benefits from this system of exploitation.
We're seeing an increase in suicide rates. We're seeing an increase in this generation. We're seeing an increase in accidental deaths due to drug overdoses. We're seeing more and more kids drop out of school or take leaves of absence due to depression. Unheard of. This is really bad.
It is not only the millennials who are unhappy because of all the exploitation. Almost majority of the population is unhappy. Only few people who are getting benefit from this system are happy, and they desperately want to save this system of exploitation. Because millennials are unhappy in the present system and they could not change the system, therefore they are becoming more and more impatient. They want change. That's why millennials say that they want to make an impact. It is because of this fear of the impact that leadership is trying to cool down millennials by providing them petty concessions like food or beanbags.
They're standing at the foot of a mountain, and they have this abstract concept called impact that they want to have in the world, which is the summit. What they don't see is the mountain. I don't care if you go up the mountain quickly or slowly, but there's still a mountain.
This system of exploitation is not ready to give anything to the majority of the people because
or job fulfillment, joy, love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things. All of these things take time. Sometimes you can expedite pieces of it, but the overall journey is arduous and long and difficult.
but still system and leaders want everything from the people because
Corporate environments that care more about the numbers than they do about the kids. They care more about the short-term gains than the long-term life of this young human being. We care more about the year than the lifetime, right? And so
now everyone can easily understand what Simon really wants to do or say. Not difficult to conclude. Try it yourself. Thank you.